today's topic is international flow of funds. In our first session, we look into introduction to international finance, and then second session we look into international financial market, right, or international capital market. Today we'll be looking into international flow of funds. We know all countries, including Malaysia, we look forward to get cash inflows from outside. We look forward to get foreign direct investment that creates a lot of jobs and contribute to the economy, all right, and many other things that we look at. So today's session, after we go through the session, you should be able to understand key components of balance of payment. We'll understand what is balance of payment and what are the key components. You would also be able to explain how international trade flows are influenced by economic factors and some other factors. You'll be also be able to explain how international capital flows are influenced by country characteristics. All right, since all countries look forward to get foreign direct investment, so of course everyone will be competing by giving certain incentives and all that. So we'll be looking at what attracts foreign investment to come in. Okay, so we'll be looking at that also today. So the global tendencies and movement in the world are great challenges. Okay, important opportunities for individual economies as globalization is started, and with the advancement of technology, the world has become very competitive. If you look back 10 years or 20 years back, the kind of brands available, models available were not that many. But now with globalizations, any product you talked about, we have hundreds of brands available in the market. So the competition is very high. So it provides some many opportunities as we can cross border and sell and market our products. It provides a lot of challenges also because the market become very competitive in many aspects. Okay, so the globalization of the market and internationalization of product present the most significant features of the world economic development in the last few decades. Okay, one is globalization of market. The other one is internationalization of products. So anybody and everybody who are in the market and producing products to fulfill the needs of customers and consumers, definitely they look forward to attract or capture the overall market that they have, including domestic and the global market. Okay, so the globalization is the main force that is affected, right? That affected or the change the rule of the world of economy. Okay, and even when we see COVID-19, if the space of globalization was not that much, people have become so mobile. Um, even certain COVID-19, for example, like the one came from Peru, and still now the world is you are all afraid of getting that, variant coming from Peru, and it's now spreading in Europe. It looks like it's all because of globalization, people's mobilization. We become more mobile, and our products are moving from one country to another. People are moving from one country to another. That actually help spread the virus that we have seen now. So the global strategy is now basically searching the balance between local adaptation and global standardization. So we are producing product keeping in mind of the global market. At the same time, we look at local adaptation rather than local standardization and global adaptation. It's not. We keep global standardization, standard product for the whole world, and then we look forward to see the domestic adaptation, local adaptation. So our customers in the country will get used to the global standardized products. That's what you're looking at. But if you look at 20 years back, the product usually produced by a company in a country would have been primarily to serve the local market. But now the aim is to serve the global market, and we expect the local customers and consumers to adapt to the product that we have. Um, Even if you look at the car that Malaysia produces, if you look at MyV and Proton, uh, it's being now the new models are coming in is for the international global market. The features are totally different, and it's very competitive. Okay, so the growth excuse me, the growth of the international trade has been influenced by many factors, not only globalization. There are other factors. I mentioned one: advancement of technology, certain government decisions, some institutional activities, consumer behavior, increasing competition, new trade agreements, and many other forces are there, which you'll be looking into it a bit detailed. Now, what is balance of trade? That's what is very important for every economy to consider and understand. Balance of trade is defined as relation next export or is export minus imports. So we are looking at export minus import, then we'll have the surplus of cash flows. Countries will try their best. The government will put every effort to make sure the export is more than the import. Then you will have the surplus money to pour back in the economy. Okay. So when export exceed the imports, that you have a surplus. That's what you are seeing, right? If the import exceeds the export, then you have a deficit. All right. So I'll show you the data, how Malaysia is doing in terms of exports and imports. So international trade is largely affected by demand for a nation's goods and services, right? Of course, it's understood. Now, we do understand the definition of exporting and importing, but let me go through a bit. Exporting is defined as sales of product and services in the foreign countries, okay, that are sourced or made in the home country. So you are producing here or it's being sourced from here, and you are, for example, like many multinational organizations, also companies work in Malaysia, they do also produce product, right? So on those products, when it's exported, it's counted as exporting. And importing is basically buying goods or services from foreign sources and bringing back to our home country, right? So it's also, sometimes we call it a global sourcing, right? It's a term that we use now. So the balance of payment is a similar concept, right? It's a summary of transaction between domestic and foreign residents of a specific country over a specific period of time, a specified period of time. Okay. So the summary is divided into a current account and capital account that constitute the balance of payment. So the current account is defined as a summary of flow of fund due to purchase of goods and services, all right, or the provision of the income of financial assets. So you are talking about you're buying the raw materials or any other finished goods from outside, okay, and you are paying for that, okay. So that's the current account. Um, and this is what balance of payment. You look at the current account, the factors that influence the current account deficit or surplus. Yeah? So you are looking at bringing back, you are buying products or services from outside. Consumer import spending, capital flows from abroad, exchange rate, relative inflation rate, savings rate, and relative economic growth. There are many other factors also there that influence uh, the current account. How much, what good deal you are buying product from overseas. All right. Now this is capital and financial account. This is basically when you are selling from your country to a specific country or many countries. So that's what you call capital of financial accounts. Here, your cash will inflow. In current accounts, you look at cash outflow, and here you are looking at cash inflows. Okay, so when you sell, most of the sale could be on credit still, could be also on credit. So and then wait for the accounts to be received. Okay, this is the export import data of Malaysia 2019. I decided to take this data because from 2020 we have the COVID, right? And 2021, of course. So these 2 years are affected by the COVID situation that we have. So the data we have might not be the accurate data to show to you. So I have decided to take 2019 data for you to view and understand. Okay, so if you look at this data in 2019, the export was 86 billion compared to import was 73 billion, meaning that Malaysia has a surplus of 12 billion. So Malaysia was exporting more than imports. So that's how it is. And the trading with China constitute as the most significant one. 13.7 billion been exported to China. Okay, and followed by Singapore, and then number three is United States. So the total export trade with ASEAN was 24.2 billion. 24.2 billion. Out of 24 billion, 11 million was to Singapore. So this is about the countries where the top three trading partners of Malaysia. And if you look at exports and imports, exports of major products, Malaysia exported electrical and electronic products was the highest contributor, 35.59%, which was 31 billion, worth of 31 billion, followed by refined petroleum products, 6.2 billion, and then third one was palm oil and palm oil based products, 5.8 billion. So these are the major products that Malaysia exports. And what are the products Malaysia imported? The first one was intermediate goods, which is 41.1 billion. Okay, and then the capital goods constitute 8.6 billion, followed by consumption goods. So if you look at exports in 2019, so the most important elements was electrical and electronics, whereby if you look at imports, is basically the intermediate goods. Okay, and the country is significantly Malaysia trade constitute quite a lot with China, followed by Singapore and United States. All right, and of course, Malaysia has good deal of business with Asian countries. So if you look at again the data 2019 to 2020, that's what I said earlier. COVID has in fact impacted a lot, right? So if you look at 2019, uh, the data that we see here, the imports data, was good. I think it was October was the month that Malaysia had the highest amount of export. 2020, if you look at January, February, March, April was okay. Then when it comes to May, you can see the pain. The export was negative, right? There's no export at all, negative, okay, compared to the other years. And then somehow July it got back to the highest amount of export again. But the rest of the data I don't have. It may show that may have fallen again, okay. But now I think it's regaining back. This is the data is starting from 1997 until 2019. And you can see the highest amount of export was in 2008, just immediately after the financial crisis, right? 2007 was the crisis. And then followed by 2019 was the second highest amount of trade surplus that Malaysia has. Okay. Now this is another slide that shows a comparative data on exports and imports in Malaysia. So you are looking at total trade values in Asia and total trade values in the world, share of the world. So in terms of share of the world, you can see is constantly increasing. Looks like Malaysia is doing very well. In terms of trade, total trade values in Asia, the value also not bad, right? 2015, it looks like after 2014, it started decline a bit, but it still is not it's not as low as 2009 or 2010, right? It's still in the upper trend. So this is the ASEAN countries. You can see the highest amount of trading, export import is with Singapore. Okay, So 50.5%. I always thought that Malaysia might be doing more trading with Indonesia. That's the largest country we have in this area. But Indonesia became number three. The first is Singapore, followed by Thailand, then Indonesia, then Vietnam and Philippines. So, as an international finance student, you have to understand where Malaysia stands. Who are the great partners when it comes to international trade? So it's Singapore and Thailand, because it also provides a lot of job opportunities and many business opportunities that you have to keep in mind. Once you complete your degree, if you think of getting involved in international trade and business, so that's the data very important for you. Which country should you be getting involved with? Okay. So this is the data from United States. I have shown you the Malaysian data. This is US data. US is the dominant economy in the world. So I think it's good to show you where do they trade. US exports, um, the highest number of exports is basically in Canada. It's looking similar. Malaysia is bordering with Singapore, so export more on Singapore. US also the same, Canada, followed by Mexico, also bordering US, 12%. Okay, and China constitute only 5%, and United Kingdom 4%. So the rest of the whole world is 45%. When it comes to imports, still Canada is number one, and Mexico is number two. China is number two. So US is importing a lot from China, 16%. Canada and China are the same, right? Top two. So 16% US total imports is from China. China is a country that is supplying raw materials to the whole world. So any country's import data you look at, you will always see China could be one of the top country that is exporting to that country. Okay. This one I have already shown you. So these are the some of the events that took place in the last 2-3 decades that actually contributed the increasing of international trade. We know that East Germany and West Germany was broken, right? There were two after World War, but then uh, there was a removal of Berlin Wall, and now Germany became unified and one only. We have witnessed the single European Act of 1987. Now we have Euro currency and many things common in the 13 European countries. The NAFTA agreement, the GATT agreement, inception of Euro, of course, right? Expansion of European Union, many other trade agreements. Then we have containerization. Basically, things are exported with the container, with the bulk shipping. That also reduce the cost of exporting and importing. Significant technological change that took place last 2 decades. Huge advancements of technologies, changing everything in our life. Okay, economies of scale, difference of tax system, less protectionism, because everybody wants foreign investors to come and invest here. So protectionism become less. Growth strategies of transnational and multinational companies. Every company now try to expand to different other countries to expand the market and gain more profit. Okay, so these are the few I have listed down. There could be many other. These events are the prominent one that's actually impacted or contributed the increasing of international trade. There are also few trade fictions there. Okay, um, like environmental restrictions. We do have environmental restrictions, all right? We cannot simply go somewhere and start trading there, as we have witnessed now. Last month, right, in Spain, the volcano. You have seen how dangerous it was. There are many environmental problems there in Indonesia. Tsunami, earthquakes are very common. And this morning, there was a quite heavy earthquake in my country, back home in Bangladesh. Bangladesh and Myanmar this morning, India, Bangladesh, Myanmar this morning had quite massive earthquake. We do not know until now the the damage done by this earthquake this morning is just about 3 hours back. 3 hours back, there was a massive earthquake hit Myanmar, Bangladesh, and India. So we do not know the damage, how much damage was done. Many environmental factors there, like burning the jungles and many other things we know. Those basically create problems for international traders or international investors to move to different countries. Labor laws. There are countries where you have labor laws which are unacceptable, and thus many countries do not want to go and invest in those countries. Okay, bribes is corruption. Bribes are very common. Now there is a smart name of bribes. I don't know whether you are aware. Now people call it speed money. I was even very shocked when I heard of the term speed money. What does it mean? It means that you submitted a project for approval to a ministry, and the file doesn't move. So you have to bribe. You have to pay money to move the file. That's why this is speed money. So you get your file approved with the speed, faster speed, and that's why you have to bribe the officer to sign and move your file. So, so bribes is another fiction we have. Government subsidies. Government subsidies. There are certain um, special industries are there almost every country where government will provide some kind of subsidies for the producers. Okay, some tax breaks also given. If you go to Pulim high tech area, these companies are situated there and producing products. There's a tax break for them. If I don't know how many of you have been in Pulim, because we University of Malaysia Press we do have a center there, and we do offer MBA. I frequently go and visit Pulim. If you go to just First Solar, the US company, you will see how big company is. So possibly 2 to 3 or 4,000 Malaysians are working there. So the government has given certain facilities there. Why? Because they will come here, they operate their business here, they recruit the locals. It creates jobs. Okay, create jobs, and it creates many other opportunities when the company comes and operates here. Okay, so there are some frictions there that actually create barriers for international investors to move. Even though every country want international investors to come in, but again, there are certain barriers also there that we have to keep in mind. Trade policies. Different country has different policies. Okay, everybody based on their own economic strength, location advantage, and all that, they try to uh, develop policies which are friendly, flexible, accessible to international exporters, international investors. Okay, so exchange rate is one, um, allowing outsourcing and all that. A managerial decision about outsourcing, using trade policies for security reasons, using trade policies for political reasons. So there are many different policies out there. Whatever it is, at the end of it, the government should strive its best to make sure that the policies are investors friendly. Okay, so that foreign investment can pour in. If policies are not friendly, of course, the foreign investors will not come in. And there are many other countries where they can move in. So if you do not provide friendly environment, they will just even withdraw the investment that they did, and they just go and invest in somewhere. Okay. Um, these are the important factors that actually affect international trade flows. One is inflation, national income, of course, government policies. You talked about it, and also you look at exchange rates. Okay, these are the most important factors that contribute to the international trade flows. So when the government is deciding on monetary and fiscal policies, especially, the government has to make sure policies are developed, designed in a way that is foreign investors friendly. Okay, they come in, they operate, they create jobs. And you know that multinational jobs are more lucrative than the local company jobs. They provide a high salary, more benefits, and all that. Okay. Now, there are certain limitations, of course, there for the weak home currency solution. Okay, so if your currency is weaker, as ringgit is a bit weaker now due to last 2 years of COVID impacted, it is 4 ringgit already up, above 4 ringgit, $1 equals 4 point something now. So counter pricing by competitors, pre-arranged international transactions, intercompany trade, that may help, intercompany trade and all that may help a bit uh, to cover up the problem with weak currency that many countries experience at in time, like what Malaysia is experiencing now. Okay, Malaysian economy is on deficit because of COVID impacted a lot. 2 years almost Malaysia was on lockdown. Not 2 years, 1 year plus, right? That may have impacted a lot. Not only Malaysia, there are many countries, Thailand and many other countries have similar experiences. So to cover up that, counter pricing helps. Counter pricing helps. Some pre-arranged international transactions. We look at forward contracts, future contracts, and all those definitely help. Okay, and these are the important factors that affect the foreign direct investment. As I said from the beginning, every country look forward to get foreign direct investment. But when a multinational company thinks of investing overseas, they have so many choices. So many choices. If the countries would like to come to ASEAN, they have a choice of Thailand. They have a choice of Vietnam, Cambodia, beside Malaysia now. Malaysia was the most lucrative location before. But now with the development in Vietnam, Cambodia, even Thailand, pose a serious threat to Malaysian economy in terms of attracting foreign direct investment. Okay, so now Malaysia has to compete with other countries, and same goes to every country. Everyone competes. So, what are the factors that the government should look into to make sure that foreign investors they feel attractive, a place to come? Number one, changes of restriction. There should not be many trade restrictions for foreign investors. Privatization, government should not be uh, controlling everything, rather they allow privatization. The size of economy and potential for growth, if the country economy is growing, economic activities are friendly, the size of economy is growing and all that. So when it grows, it provides more opportunities. Okay, the tax rate, the exchange rates, we talk about it. Number six is one of the most important factor, the political stability. If you don't have political stability, what will have? You won't have the stability of policies, and that actually become the significant contributory factor for foreign investors to decide whether they should come or not. But Alhamdulillah, Malaysia has been very stable, even though you had a change of government last 2 years, but it did not really impacted much on the policies. Okay, because the political leaders are all almost they belong to the same origin. So Malaysia doesn't have that serious problem in terms of political stability. There are countries where political stability is a serious concern, and if one government changes to another, all policies changes also. Okay, like in US, it doesn't matter whether Republican or Democrats, the policy remain the same. Not much of changes. So it doesn't really affect the country and economy. In Malaysia, also almost similar. Doesn't really change much. The stability is there. People do not go to the street and demonstrate and fight. People do not go to, they do not demonstrate inside the company and burn down the company. They don't. So the people are quite civilized here. Okay. And this is one of the important factor why so many multinationals came to Malaysia before and still coming. So the government, whoever in power, they have to make sure the policies are stable, friendly, and that may invite more foreign direct investments to come in. Size of the total local market. When the company come in, of course, they want to sell majority of the products here locally. All right. So the size of the economy, if you compare Malaysia And Thailand and Indonesia, of course, Thailand and Indonesia is such bigger population they have compared to Malaysia, but still they prefer Malaysia because Malaysia has um, quite developed infrastructure and some other policies remain in place. Okay. Access to free trade areas, I have told about Kulim, right? And there are many there in Malaysia. Free trade areas where certain trade exemptions and many subsidies and all others are given, facilities are given. Infrastructure and access to raw material, of course, uh, Malaysia is one of the highly developed infrastructure country in the world. If you look at the transport system that Malaysia has developed, is comparable to with developed countries like Canada and US. So the infrastructure is very important because you have to transport raw materials and finished goods from one part to another part of the country, and also exporting to foreign countries. The infrastructure must be very good. That's what we have being developed very well. Communication, transport link also very good. The labor skills and wage rates, which are another two very important elements. When you recruit labor, they should be able to work on their own with little supervision. Okay, so semi-skilled labor, if not fully skilled. Okay, so the labor should be trained in a way they will be adopted. They will be easily adapting to the rules and regulations and the standard operating procedure to produce certain goods and products. So labor skill is very important factor. Malaysia is short of labor for certain industry, and Malaysia is forced to bring foreign laborers, right? Foreign workers here to help economy flourish. Okay, because Malaysia is also short of human, resources in certain areas. So I think Malaysia has about almost 1.5 to 2 million foreign workers working here. Okay, because you are short of that, and also you need some skilled labor for certain industry. For example, like even palm oil, rubber, construction, you have a lot of foreign workers there working. Uh, the wage rates, the salary that you pay to the labor is also important. Right? Malaysia has a lowest wage policy. Uh, Developed countries, when they come in, they want to follow the convention of the UN Charter, United Nations charters, and certain other international labor organization policies and conventions. So looking at the wage rates, it's not about paying low wage. This is about paying a standard one, and yet if it's possible, wage lower than the country they come in. So if the company is operating in US, the lowest salary would be very high compared to if they operate in Malaysia, right? But if they move to Vietnam, the wage rate could be even lower. Even Thailand, they move to wage rate could be lower. So there is a check and balance between these two, labor skills and wage rates. Possibly, the companies may prefer Malaysia, even though the wage rate is bit higher than the other ASEAN countries because of the labor skills. Okay, so that's what you have to do. If you want foreign direct investment to come in, then we have to train our labor. We have to make them skilled. So even though the wage is a bit higher, still foreign investment will pour in. Okay. So this is a distribution of foreign direct investment. So it's whole data, 2007, 2008. I should have collected the new latest data for you. If you look at the most attractive place was the US, 16.58, and then the whole Europe was 28.58%. But again, here United Kingdom and France was the most popular one, 11%, right? And if you look at China, it's only 1%, 0.84%. That was 2008. But of course, with so many years, like 12 years of difference, the data has completely changed. I may have to try to get the new data. Okay. Of course, when foreign investors are moving from here and there, they will always try to diversify the portfolio of investment. Again, it depends on tax rate, interest rate, and exchange rate, the three most important ones that we always look at. And these are the agencies that actually govern, control the or facilitate the international flows of currencies and international flows of uh, foreign direct investment, all that. And International Monetary Fund, IMF, World Bank, World Trade Organization, International Financial Corporation, International Development Association, Banks for International Settlements, Organization of Economic Cooperation Development, and there are many regional development agencies like ASEAN and many other there. So these other organizations are there to facilitate the international trades, the exports and imports. There are many rules and regulations are laid down by these organizations to make sure that the international trade flows move on smoothly. Okay, so that's what I had it for you today, international flow of funds. Uh, Now I will open up for question and answer session. Can I get some question from you? Who has a question? If you are not very clear, you can ask me now. If you need further elaboration, I'm here to help you understand. Or if you have any addition or any comments also, you are most welcome to do it. Anyone has a question? Kirtika, are you there online?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand the lecture today?
Yes, sir.
Clear?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Um,
Thank you, sir.
Leave me way talking about individual assignment. Yeah, I will explain. Sure, sure. I will. Nurul Noha, how about you? Are you there? Nurul Noha,
Sir, yes, sir.
how about the lecture today? Do you follow? Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. The first assignment basically on crowdfunding. I have already opened up the link for you in the Google Classroom to submit to individual assignment. When I have given you the individual assignment and group projects, I have already explained how it should be done. But again, I think some of you are not very clear. On crowdfunding, when you watch the videos, today I will share the slide also. I'll share the slide with you today on crowdfunding as well as the fintech. Crowdfunding is one of the emerging sources of finance now. Listen to the video carefully, and then when I send you the slide, look at it, review it, appropriately. What I expect you to do is to write uh, an assignment on crowdfunding. Okay, crowdfunding introduction. I do not prefer to give you the contents, the outline of what the content should be, because I want you to leave it to your creativity. All right, so you can start with definition of crowdfunding, the importance of crowdfunding, what are the crowdfunding platforms available, how can you utilize crowdfunding to raise fund. And I mentioned also that there are few crowdfunding platforms available in Malaysia. Now I want you to focus on those one, and some limitations and disadvantages, challenges or risks involved in crowdfunding got to be also discussed. Okay. Um, is there any other thing you got to know about individual assignment beside this? It's a general, assignment that you should start with the definition of it and then slowly flows it down. Flows it down. Finally, you made a conclusion, but before conclusion, you should have some discussion on the challenges posed by crowdfunding. Okay. Hazik, Hajik Akmal, are you there? Hazik Akmal, not there. Africa, how about you, Africa? Afika. Afika not there also online. I see you there. Okay. Charlene Tan, are you there? Charlene Tan.
Yeah, sir.
Okay. Is it clear now, the assignment?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, all right. If you don't have any question, you don't need any clarification, then let me end the class here today. I will share the slide with you immediately after the class. And I will also share the crowdfunding and fintech slides. If you don't receive it, please remind me. Just one of you remind me today. Okay. All right. So thank you very much for the coming to the class, and I see you next week. Assalamu alaikum and good morning to all of you.